Hi, everybody. This is Alan Fine, and I'm here with Andrea DeMarco, who is the brand spanking new president of Regent Seven Seas Cruises. We're going to talk to her about that and about what's her vision for the future here on Insider Travel Report. So, what's it like? First of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So, what is it now? You've had you've been in the industry a while. What about your previous jobs, especially the ones at Regent, prepared you for this new position?
So first I want to say how grateful I am to have this opportunity and to take the helm of Regent. I mean, I don't think there's a luckier person in the world, to be honest, Alan. I mean, I've got the best product, the best team in the world. What more could somebody ask for? But you're right. I guess you could call me an industry veteran. So I've been in the industry 20 years. And throughout that time, I have a number of different experiences in a lot of different areas of the business, which, really has rounded me out and really gotten me in a position to be ready to take on this new role.
Well, I mean, just from Regent itself, you have had a perspective from inside. What is it that you've done that has prepared you for this?
No, absolutely. So for the past, I would say about 16 months, I was the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer for Regent. So you're absolutely right. I, was able to come in and really work with the teams, learn the brand, meet the guests, talk to the travel partners. And, one of the most exciting things I found when I came in is that it's like a family here. And it's not just the people in our offices. It's when you go on board the ships, you feel like family, the crew and the guests know one another. And for me, I had the opportunity to meet a lot of our travel partners and really work with them to dive into their business models and understand how they work. There's so many different business models out there. And it's been just a pleasure to get some better knowledge on that to see how I can help them, grow their business. I did have a sales role for a while in my past. And then I worked with Wall Street for quite a number of years. So very diverse, different background, but all of those different experiences pulled together.
That definitely would prepare you. So what are your goals for Regent?
When I was offered this position, again, I couldn't be more excited to be here working with this world-class team. How could you not get excited when you have a product like ours? So when you think about it, I mean, we are the leading luxury cruise line. And, the goal is to stay there. I tell my team all the time, there's three keys to success. It's to innovate, adapt, and to execute. And as you think longer term, we'll have to continue to see what our guests want. What are the new trends from consumers? How can we evolve the product to give people what they're looking for in their vacation experience? I think that's something that we'll have to work through over time. But the product is so fantastic. The good news is that everyone just needs to come on board. And what excites me again is that there's so many people and opportunities for our travel partners to bring first-time guests to the brand. Now, we've got a ton of loyal repeat customers, and that's fantastic. And we want to continue to keep those guests happy. But again, I think there's even bigger opportunities for our travel partners to grow their business.
Well, but so one of the things that intrigues me, and I'm sure the travel advisors also, is that of the three pillars, the innovation, and as you're sitting there on the bench waiting to become president, you must have been thinking and thinking. And so do you have any inklings on some of the innovation, or should we just stay tuned?
So I would say that where I really started, obviously, in my previous role was innovation with travel partners, right? So when you think about it, Alan, we offer an unrivaled experience, but that unrivaled experience starts from the moment a customer calls to look at a vacation alternative. And that, of course, is with a travel partner. And so my goal was to see how we can innovate different ways to work with our travel partners, whether that's technology, whether that's different types of marketing, whether that's education and how we can be more innovative on how we go to market with our travel partners. So we've done a number of things that we've kicked off in 2022, but really it's just a first step in what I envision to be a full heavyweight investment in our travel partners. When it comes to the product, again, we'll continue to get feedback. It is the most inclusive luxury product. So there's not too much more that you can include, but we're always looking for how we can elevate that experience. It might be more destination experiences. It might be on the culinary front. So there are some things that we're working on that you'll hear from us soon. So stay tuned from that perspective.
That's the answer I wanted. That sounds great, especially for the support of the travel advisor. So for those who don't know, because look, there are a lot of people who sell Regent and watching this, but those who are interested and curious, let's go over. Let's talk about the fleet, and let's talk about the new ship coming online in November.
Yeah, so for those who don't, there's a world of opportunity for you. We have the most luxurious fleet, and it's a small but mighty fleet. We have 5 ships in the fleet. We have a 6th one coming. Seven Seas Grandeur will join us in November of 2023, so just around the corner. When you think about our ships, the hardware is just unbelievable. And especially as you look at the newer vessels that we brought to market that were really game changers in luxury, which is Seven Seas Splendor and Seven Seas Explorer. So with Grandeur being the sister ship, she's going to have some of those same exciting features. Her decor will be a little bit different. We always look to enhance the product in different areas. So she'll have her own unique style and finishings. But really, when you think about it, Alan, the crew on board, I always tell people we can have the best ships, and we do, the most luxurious ships in the world, but it's the people that bring that vision and experience to life. And our crew on board is the best in the industry. And the way that they bring the experience to life, they engage with the guests. It's warm, it's family-like, and it's something you have to experience for yourself.
Right, and though you did say that Grandeur will have progressed beyond Splendor, anything in specific that you'd like to say?
So we're going to be announcing some of those exciting reveals over the next couple of months as we kind of lead up to her big launch. So can't really share all of them with you now, but yeah, stay tuned.
Okay, we'll be patient. We'll wait for the news coming up. But what about Faberge?
So Faberge is an exciting partnership we launched at the end of 2022. So art is something that's really important to us. And when you come on board any of our ships, you'll see we have just beautiful, incredible works of art throughout the ship. And so one of the things that we wanted to do with Grandeur is we wanted to take that art collection to the next level. And so we partnered with Faberge, and we're actually designing the first egg to reside at sea. So imagine the first Faberge egg to ever reside at sea. And it was designed and it's custom to Regent. And this partnership is something that's going to be so special. It's going to be the focal point of our multi-million-dollar art collection on Grandeur. And guess what? We'll reveal this as we get closer to her launch and her christening.
I just want to say that when a guest goes to breakfast, can they order a Faberge egg? Can you have a dish named the Regent Faberge eggs?
I'm going to work on that one, Alan. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we can come up with something really interesting.
All right. Now, the last time you were on Insider Travel Report was back in September of 22, where we were talking about fail-safe and the relaxed protocols. Is it behind us? Or what's Regent thinking now in terms of, well, look, safety is always important. So what's the latest thinking?
I think you said it best. I mean, obviously, safety and security is our number one priority, and it's something we're always going to have top of mind. But it evolves, and you've seen it evolve over the past couple of years. So our sail-safe protocols, we still have a program in place. But as of January, we really aligned those health and safety protocols really with the rest of the other tourism and hospitality companies. And so at this point, we're welcoming back guests of any status, whether you're vaccinated or you're not, and without testing requirements. So certainly it makes it a lot easier for everyone to come and enjoy our unrivaled experience. Now, the one thing that I will note, though, Alan, is obviously there are local regulations. I mean, as I mentioned before, we travel around the globe. And so those local regulations will always supersede what the cruise line regulations are. And those vary depending on what area of the world you're in. But, we still have a lot of the protocols, the sanitation, the air filtration systems. A lot of those are still intact on board the vessel. We're just making it easier for everyone to come on board and enjoy.
And I assume that, like everywhere else, it's up to the guest about their comfort level and whether they want to wear a mask or not.
Absolutely. That's something that the guests would decide on their own, whatever makes them the most comfortable.
All right, well, let's get off of that subject and move on to what's important. Let's talk about news for the 2024 and 25 cruise season, new itineraries.
Yeah, so the good news is that guests, consumers, they're looking very far into the future, and you're seeing people book further and further out. You're seeing people want to book longer cruises, more exotic destinations. And we launched our a record 2024-2025 cruise season back in August of just last year. It was a record-breaking launch for us. So you're definitely seeing that people value travel, right? And I think that's going to continue just to stay front and center. I don't think you're going to see consumers compromise when it comes to their vacation experience. So when you think of the 24-25 cruises, this collection features 160 new port-intensive itineraries. There's 21 more sailings than the previous season, so that's more opportunities for our travel partners to sell. And when we designed this portfolio, we wanted to design it to be very immersive and culturally enriching. So more overnights, more destination experiences. And so again, there's a lot of new places for our guests to go, especially as we have so many repeat customers that come back time and again. Now we've got some new voyages that can take them to some new places.
What's amazing is that you were already immersive. You're already, how do you improve upon what you'd already done? It seems very difficult.
I really think spending more time in some of the destinations, looking for different itineraries that maybe we never offered before.
And those overnights, I'm sure, help.
Yeah, they absolutely do. One of my favorite itineraries that I'd love to actually sail on myself is a London to Reykjavik itinerary that stops in Iceland and Greenland. Now, I actually spent some time in Iceland last summer, and it was such a beautiful place. There was so much to see. And it's definitely, if you haven't been there, it's a place you need to see.
Okay. So I asked you about 24 and 25 because I knew you're planning that far ahead, which is great. Let's just talk about sales in general for 23 and going forward. How's that been looking?
Yeah, so demand continues to be very strong. Like I said, people are not going to compromise on their vacation and their travel. So when you think about, people have allocated, their money into different buckets of what they want to spend with their discretionary money on, travel is going to be at top of the list, especially with so much time that people lost over the past couple of years where you didn't get to travel. And we see this in the numbers. So we've had 8 record-breaking launch days, and that's since 2019. So again, that trend continues. And even we can add another one to the list. So this year we launched our Wave campaign just last week, actually. And I can tell you that it was the best Wave launch day we've seen in our history.
Is this the Upgrade Your Horizon?
Yes, that's right. That's right. It's a very rich offer, Ellen. It's one of the fan favorites when you get a 2-category upgrade. And it's been a fantastic start to the year.
Well, let's remind the travel advisor the value proposition that Regent offers. I mean, a client can go for upscale and the difference in price to luxury and what they get. I mean, that's really compelling. And for those who don't know it, I'd love you to speak to that.
This is probably one of my favorite topics actually to talk about, because when you are, the world's leading luxury line, it obviously comes with a healthy price point. But I think what people really need to understand is that we're truly all-inclusive. And when I say all-inclusive, think of this. We offer over 2,000 free unlimited shore excursions, and that's across 500 destinations. You have round-trip air included, Wi-Fi, beverages, specialty restaurants, transfers, and on and on. And so it really is a package that's all-inclusive. So when you break it down, and if you were to compare us, and we've done this many a times, we actually have given a lot of materials to our travel partners so they can understand and they can explain the value proposition to their clients. But if you were to look, Alan, at our prices and compare us to, let's say, another premium cruise line, an upper premium cruise line, or even another luxury line, even though we may have the highest price point at the first glance, once you start to look at everything that we include, which are add-ons at the other alternatives, at the end of the day, the price point between the two offerings become de minimis. And at that point, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go for the luxury experience.
Travel advisors need to be aware of that, and it's part of their selling. Where can they get more information on that? I'm jumping ahead on my own questions, but it seems appropriate to talk about it now because that's a bit of training there. It
is some training, but the great thing is that we laid this out in a very user-friendly, easy to use format, and it's on our website. So the travel partners can use it, they can email it to their clients. And again, it kind of shows you that nice, simple comparison that shows everything that's included and how the price point isn't going to be that much different when you compare us to some of the other alternatives. The interesting thing, Alan, is you've seen a lot of price increases, right, across the globe when it comes to travel, whether that's airfare, whether that's hotels. But when you look at land-based resorts, and we've always been a much better value proposition versus land-based. But in this environment where you've seen rates increase so much so fast, this is where we're really going to shine, because the value proposition, that gap has spread, and not by a little, by a wide margin. And again, that gives the guests and the clients that our travel partners are working with new opportunities to look into cruise. Maybe they never thought about a cruise. Right, but if you can get a luxury experience and travel to multiple destinations, unpack once, and it's going to be less than your land-based resort, but a better experience, I'm not sure how hard that is to convince someone.
That value proposition is something that travel advisors should be trained on so they can speak to it easily. Where do they go? Is there a place on your website that they can go to learn more?
Yes, Alan, this is something that we've put a lot of investment into, to have an easy to use, simple, user-friendly way for them to view the value comparison, and something that they can then even forward it on to their clients so that they can understand that value comparison.
So they go to the website, which is www.rssc.com, scroll to the bottom, and in the middle of the resources column, there is the Travel Partner Center. That's where they go?
That's correct.
All right. And so they'll find the comparisons, any training they need, and they can contact you through there as well.
Absolutely. And when we did the comparisons, we didn't just do one, we looked at it by destination. So there's a comparison on Alaska, there's a comparison on the Caribbean, on Europe. And so there's plenty of tools that they can use depending on where their client's looking to travel to.
As part of the training, let's talk about who the Regent Seven Seas guest is. How are these guests different than, say, maybe other luxury carriers? What is the essence? What is the very difference?
It's really interesting that you asked the question, because we did a couple of years ago a very in-depth research study, and we invested a lot of time, money, resources into this so that we could identify exactly who a Regent customer was. And one of the things that we wanted to do, not only for our own benefit, but we wanted to provide this to our travel partners. So this was a webinar we launched last year, Grow Your Business with Regent. And what we did, Alan, is we identified 4 key personas. And right now, at this point in time, we're focusing on 2, which make up more than half of the people that make up the Regent guests. So one is called an active explorer, and one's an understated traditionalist. And basically, while they might have similar demographics in terms of age or where they live, what is different is their purchasing behavior and their activities, what they enjoy. So, for example, the active explorer, it's just what you think. It's people who want to be more active on vacation. So one of the things our travel partners can do is that when they're marketing to somebody who has an affinity to activity, they can choose to use an image of the, glacier hike or kayaking or something that they can relate to. And then when you look at the understated traditionalist, they want to be pampered. They want that white glove service. They want to go to the spa and enjoy the finer things in life and relax and enjoy that time to themselves. And so again, one of the things that we wanted to take from this research was, how can we help our travel partners market even better and target who those people are? And
so for the traditionalists, they do pictures of the ship itself, the staterooms,
or the spa, right? Like the spa, of dining, of service. So, you want to, an image says 1,000 words, right? And you really want to kind of target what the right image is for someone and their interest.
And that's really where they should focus, on those 2 personalities. That's where the best sales will come.
That is where the best sales will come. And so one of the other things that we did, and we coupled with this, is we actually gave this really great campaign. So I don't know about you, Alan, but I know a ton of people over the past couple of years where they've missed milestone birthdays or anniversaries or celebrations, right? And everyone wants to make up for those times. And so we launched a special occasion campaign. And this allows, again, our travel partners to hone in. They can look by date of birth, right, in their database and say, okay, great. How many of my clients are having 70th birthdays? Well, maybe they don't typically travel on Regent. Maybe they travel, on a upper premium or premium line. But guess what? For your 70th birthday, this is the splurge that you need to come and enjoy this unrivaled experience. So treat yourself, trade up. And that is it's a really easy thing to do, right? And it's easy to talk to in a conversation. So I think this is another really great way that our travel partners can bring new business to their business and then bring them to Regent. And you know what, Alan, once they come on board and they have that special occasion, I can guarantee you they're going to come back time and again.
This is proof positive of why it's great to have a president who has sales background.
It does help. It's very helpful, Alan, I have to say. You got to have a little bit of everything.
All right. Well, you've answered some of my other questions already. So let me round this out with, is there anything else you want to tell we're now up to 111,000 travel advisors, many of whom sell Regent already, but those who are learning more about it, what do you want them to know?
Sure. There's a couple things I'd love to say. So thanks for the opportunity. So I think the first thing is, I can tell you as president that one of my key priorities is to work with our travel partners and give them the resources that they need to drive business. So their success is our success, and they're critical to our success. So you'll hear and see from me a lot more often. I won't just go into my office and disappear. I want to be out and about and learning different business models and different challenges and looking at how we can overcome them together. The other thing is, if you haven't sold Regent, give it a try, right? It doesn't hurt to ask your client, have you ever considered Regent, right? And I think you'd be surprised at how many people want to trade up right now. And on top of that, Alan, the commission, when you look at it on a dollar basis, we have some of the highest commissions in the industry. So imagine your time is valuable as a travel partner. How can I earn on average? We have $4,000 in commission on average per booking. So how can I tap into that as part of my business to bring in more revenue? And you know what? It's Regent Seven Seas Cruises.
Well, I got to tell you, this is a great summary. And this is a great introduction to our audience of the new president of Regent. Thank you so much for spending the time.
It's my pleasure. And I hope I get to meet anyone I haven't. I hope I get to see you along the way at different conferences and events.
And this is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.